I would have to think that Seattle, Washington is one of the few cities on the North American continent that has a prettier skyline than Toronto during the summer. It is a lovely day here, and the roof is open at Sky Dome, and we're ready to play some baseball. And to you all in the Pacific Northwest, a very pleasant good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dave Niehaus along with Rick Riz and Ron Fairley. The Mariners have won 3 out of 4, but there's still a little bit too much win one, lose one, win one, lose one. They are within 1 game of 500, but the California Angels have been torrid. They won 7 out of 8 on their just completed road trip, and the Toronto Blue Jays have been particularly tough against the Mariners this year, Rick.
They really have, Dave. Right after the All-Star break, Toronto came to town and won 3 out of 4 against the Mariners. The Mariners had a tough time, and they hit under 200 in that 4-game series against the Blue Jays. To beat this ball club, you have to score some runs. You got to turn up the offense because, you know, 1 through 6 in this order, the Blue Jays can do some damage offensively.
And to beat this ball club, you have to slay a dragon here in Toronto. Who is the dragon? That is the subject of Ron Fairley's on-deck report, so let's check in with the redhead.
All right, thank you very much, Dave. Well, the last time these teams got together at the Kingdome is John Olerud hit 3 home runs. But here in Toronto, the guy that the Mariners have to pay a lot of attention to is Joe Carter. Now, remember 1993 World Series with Mitch Williams on the mound? Well, Joe Carter World Series. Take a look at what Joe has done against the Mariners last year. Batting .360 with 3 home runs and 12 runs driven in. And in the 3 games in Toronto last year, on the mound with Dave Fleming, he homered in Game 1. Bobby Thigpen in Game 2. And then in Game 3, the big unit, Joe Carter went deep each time. Well, the dragon the Mariners have to slay is Joe Carter here in Toronto. Let's go back upstairs, the guys in the booth, for more on tonight's starting pitchers.
Okay, Red, the Mariners did make a roster move today. They have outrighted or sent to Tacoma outfielder Gary Thurman, and Alex Rodriguez has been called up from Tacoma, and perhaps his yo-yoing days are over. Let's hope so. Let's take a look at tonight's starting pitchers, Rico.
A couple of youngsters go tonight. Solomon Torres is back on the mound after suffering back spasms. He gets the start for the Mariners' 3-4 record. Edwin Hurtado, the starter. He pitched in long relief and picked up his first Major League win against Seattle a few days ago.
The roof is open, and ooh la la, what a day we have. Good to have you with us. We'll be back and have a look at this afternoon's starting lineups right after this timeout.
It has turned out to be a beautiful night out for baseball. The Sky Dome roof is open as the Mariners get ready to take on the Blue Jays here in Toronto in Game 1 of this 3-game weekend series. Hello again, everybody. Rick Riz along with Ron Fairley. And Red, let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups for Game 1.
All right, let's take a look at the starting lineup, sponsored by your Mazda dealer, presented by manager Lou Piniella. Leading off is Joey Cora at second base, Rich Amaral in center field, Edgar Martinez, the DH, Tino Martinez at first base, Jay Buhner in right field, young Moore Newson, just acquired from the White Sox in left, Doug Strange over at third, Chris Widger will be behind the plate doing the catching, and young Alex Rodriguez, just called up from Tacoma, will be at shortstop. Defensively for the Blue Jays, Carter, White, and Green in the outfield, with Sprague, Perez, Alomar, and Olerud around the infield, Martinez behind the plate, and on the mound, right-handed pitcher Edwin Hurtado, with a record of 1-0, is making his first Major League start of his career. This will be his 5th appearance of the year. Last time the Mariners saw him, young Hurtado won in relief at the Kingdome. In that 9-3 ball game, he went 6 2/3 innings of relief work, and he allowed just 4 hits, 1 run while striking out 3. You see the young right-hander will be making his 2nd appearance against the Mariners, and he has outstanding minor league numbers. And take a look at these numbers right here. Last time the Mariners had a chance to see him, those are the numbers, last Sunday at the Kingdome. Well, these two teams, when they got together in Seattle, Blue Jays won 3 of the 4 ball games, and right now, Rick Riz, the Mariners need to put some runs on the scoring board.
They have to. They have to get that offense going again, Ron, just like they did in the 2-game series against the Detroit Tigers back home, where they scored 20 runs in those 2 ball games. They scored only 4 yesterday, but fortunately it was enough, as the Mariners in 13 innings beat Milwaukee at County Stadium 4-2. So the Mariners want to get in a stretch. They hope to stay there to try to gain some ground in first place California, because, Ron, it seems like California doesn't want to lose. They won 2 from the Toronto Blue Jays. They have won 8 of their last 10, on top now in the West by 4 games over second place Texas.
When the California Angels score 8, 9, or 10 runs a game, they're a little tough to beat. In fact, any team's a little tough to beat when you score the way the Angels have been scoring. But getting back to this last time these teams got together, some interesting numbers. If you're kind of run your way, well, we have a little bit of time. That the Blue Jays outscored the Mariners 17-8. They out-hit the Mariners, and the Mariners left more men on base than that of the Blue Jays. Now, the last time these teams played, the Mariners had a lot of time with men in scoring position, but in the last 2, 3, or 4 games, the Mariners have gotten a little bit better hitting with guys down there in scoring position.
You're right, especially in that series against the Tigers. They had a tough time in the 4-game series against the Blue Jays right after the All-Star break. This kid, Edwin Hurtado, he can be something special. He has a fastball, a good slider, and an occasional forkball. I was talking with Jay Buhner before the ball game, and he really likes this kid. He gets the start, his first major league start, as Ron mentioned, because Woody Williams is on the DL, and the Blue Jays have had their problems with some injuries this year. Joey Cora will lead things off here at Sky Dome. Game 1 of the 3-game series. Joey batting .279, a home run, and 19 runs batted in. Had a little problem way out there in center field, and Devon White is going to take care of it. A fan dropped something on the field that landed on the warning track. And now we're ready to get underway. Joe Brinkman will be the plate umpire tonight. Kenny Kaiser at first base, Darrell Cousins at second, Tim Welke the umpire at third. Hurtado is ready, and here's the pitch, and it's a fastball for a strike. 0-1, and we are underway.
One of the things with Joe Brinkman behind the plate that we have to be a little cautious with, waiting for the arm to come up on a called strike.
Fouled out of play on the third base side by Joey, and the count is 0-2. The other umpires, as we mentioned, the big guy, Ken Kaiser at first base, Cousins at second, Welke, the umpire at third base. Joe Brinkman behind the plate, very deliberate with that strike call. Fastball is way high and outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And welcome back to our producer and director, Mark Engelbrecht. He was away for the last few days for the birth of his second child, lovely Lily Marie Engelbrecht. Welcome to the world, and congratulations to Mark and Diane Engelbrecht. Proud daddy for the second time. And our thanks to Bill Cooper for the fine job that he did on our telecast a few days ago in Milwaukee.
Did an outstanding job.
And of course, Curtis Wilson helping out tremendously. Up and away. Hurtado misses. Full count, 3-2. On deck for the Mariners, center fielder Rich Amaral. Joey trying to get something started. Line to the left center field, but on the run, Joe Carter comes in, and he makes the catch. One away, hit softly a little toward the gap in left center. Joe was shedded toward left center field. He seemed to get fooled on that swing.
Well, I think what he was doing, he was just trying to get a bead on that lazy fly ball.
Maybe it was
may have a little bit of
lights.
reflection of the sun up in the stands beyond the and up above on the first base side.
The lights are on here at Sky Dome. They won't take effect for a while. Just a perfect night here in Toronto. Here's center fielder Rich Amaral. Hurtado starts the ball for the fastball high and inside. Rich batting .282, a home run, and 10 runs batted in. He had a big sacrifice bunt yesterday in Milwaukee. That led to a 2-run top of the 13th inning. And the Mariners won that game over the Brewers 4-2 to come away with a split in that 2-game series. Strike on the outside corner. We had to wait on Brinkman. 1-2 on Rich. Ron, you mentioned about this kid's numbers over the last 4 years in the minor leagues. Absolutely unbelievable. He was at Class A Hagerstown last year. Got the call from Double-A ball this year.
When you look at what he accomplished in 91 through 94, minor league records of 39 wins, 5 losses.
That's pretty
I
good.
don't care what league you're in. I don't care. You know, those are very impressive numbers. 39 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
And during that time, he worked in 411 innings and has struck out 410.
Great numbers.
Great numbers.
He was a double-A ball this year. Fouled out of play down the right field side by Emerald, and the count is still a ball and 2 strikes. He was up and down with the big club twice this year. He was originally called up back on May the 21st and appeared in only 1 game when Juan Guzman was placed on the DL with a bad shoulder. Then came up again on July the 6th. Swing and a miss by Emerald. Strike 3. There's that slider down and away. And Edwin Hurtado picks up his first strikeout tonight. 2 outs. So 2 up and 2 down for the Mariners here in the top of the first inning. Just underway, no score. The batter is designated hitter Edgar Martinez. Edwin Hurtado, his first major league start. Up and in on Edgar, ball 1. And that hit him. So the pitch up and in apparently grazed Edgar Martinez. And Joe Brinkman said, take your base, and Edgar is on at first base with 2 outs. Just barely nicked him.
Well, if you're going to get hit with a pitch, that's the way you want to get hit. Boy, that just ticked his, looked like his elbow or his sleeve or something.
He turned to his right as he started to stride into the pitch. And according to Brinkman, he said it hit him. That'll bring up Tino. 1 on, 2 outs. Swing and a miss by Tino Martinez. 0-1. Tino back in the cleanup spot, batting .290, 20 home runs and 69 RBIs, leads the American League. He's 5th in home runs. His next home run will give him a career high 21. He had 20 last year. 1-1. Hurtado came on in long relief last Sunday in Seattle. It's a game the Blue Jays won 9-3. John Olerud hit 2 home runs, including a grand slam home run. Ball 2, 2-1. And red hot in July, Tino Martinez. B.J. Surhoff of Milwaukee with 24, but there's Tino with 23 in July. Right behind him, Jimmy Edmonds for the California Angels. Inside, ball 3, 3-1 on Tino.
Of course, when you hit a few grand slam home runs, that helps out with your RBIs for that month. Tino, the grand slam just before the All-Star break, and then a grand slam just the other day.
And it was Edgar Martinez who led the American League in RBIs for the month of June. He had 38. Chopped foul on the first base side by Tino. Count goes full at 3-2, and Edgar was the American League's player of the month, and there he is right there, the American League's leading hitter, batting .364. Mariners hanging in there in the West because of Edgar Martinez and Tino Martinez. Jay Buhner is red hot now in the last couple of weeks. Randy Johnson has been sensational all season long. Edgar takes off. Swing and a miss by Tino. Strike 3, and that'll retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, and a man left out, a hit batter. We go to the bottom of the first from Sky Dome in Toronto. No score.
Paul Mulladar, the designated hitter. Robbie Alomar at second base. Joe Carter in left field. John Olerud at first base. Ed Sprague over at third. Sean Green in right field. And Angel Martinez, the catcher. Thomas Perez at shortstop. Defensively, Newsom, Amaral, and Buhner in the outfield. Strange, Rodriguez, Cora, and Tino Martinez in the infield. Widger will be doing the catching this evening, and on the mound is the young right-hander Solomon Torres with a record of 3-4 and an ERA at 5.62, making his 9th start of the year. His last start, well, you'd have to go 11 days ago at Cleveland. He missed his last scheduled outing because of some back problems, but there are some numbers for you on his last start when he beat the Cleveland Indians, and he had an outstanding afternoon there at Jacobs Field.
That was promising because he struggled in his previous start against the Detroit Tigers. Could not get out of the second inning, as you can see right there, but then he bounced back against the toughest hitting ball club in baseball and beat the Tribe on their home turf at Jacobs Field. Devon White will lead things off here in the bottom of the first inning and takes a pitch way outside. Ball 1. White batting .284, has 8 home runs, 37 runs batted in. Some of the Blue Jays really started to get well in that 4-game series right after the All-Star break in Seattle, Ron, after they were struggling in the first half.
Yeah, well, you know, you have to keep in mind, I mean, these are the same guys that 2 years ago were the world champions. And you don't lose your ability to win ball games or to hit in that period of time. They're just having, some of the guys are just having bad years. Nevertheless, they do have a lot of talent here.
They are still the defending World Series champions because of the strike last season. '93, they beat the Philadelphia Phillies. Line drive. This one is a fair ball. In toward the corner, Devon White in at second base with a leadoff double. Out of the ball is newcomer Warren Newson, and just like that, the Blue Jays have a runner on at second base. Slice that ball the other way, and here comes manager Lou Piniella out to argue the call with third base umpire Tim Wilkie.
I think Wilkie is saying the ball landed on the line.
Took a long look at it. Solomon Torres wants to join in on the conversation, and Lou says, go on back to the mound. I'll take care of this. This is my part of the job.
Yeah. And then jumped up in the air and clicked his heels a few times.
Sullivan likes to do that.
You know, in talking with Bobby Cuellar about Solomon Torres, one of the things that they're trying to get Torres to do, and that is to have the same release point with every pitch. One time his fastball will be 3/4, and then the next time it'll be a little bit lower. And then maybe the third inning, his fastball will be a little bit more overhand. And so what happens is that that's one of the big reasons why his command is off just a little bit. So they're trying to get him to be a little bit more consistent on the mound with the release point when the ball comes out of his hand when he throws the pitch to the plate. And by doing so, maybe his command will improve.
Last time out, he walked only 1 in 6 innings at Cleveland. Molitor fouls away the first pitch to him, 0-1. And only 1 walk in 6 innings.
You recall we were talking with Molitor in Seattle, and he said what he has been trying to do in recent games, and that is to wait for the ball to get a little bit further back into the hitting zone. And because of that, probably will hit the ball more to right field.
Ball's 1 out of play on the first base side, and it's 0-1.
Waiting just a little bit longer, instead of hitting that ball a little bit more out in front, he's hitting it further back in the hitting area.
And with White on at second base, he's trying to do that to send Devon along to third base. Molitor batting .244 on the year, 8 home runs, 34 runs batted in, but since the All-Star break, hitting a little over 300. Fouls one away off his foot, and the count is still 0-2.
The other thing that Molitor does, I think, better than anybody else in the American League is when he gets down to 2 strikes. His stance up at the plate may be a shade wider, but he just picks his front foot up and sets it right back down. Really no stride at all.
Like Kirby Puckett. On a play again on the first base side, and the count is still 0-2 on Molitor.
Kind of have a feeling as though Puckett may have been copying what Molitor has been doing, because Molitor has been doing that for the last several years.
Solomon Torres trying to work himself out of a jam here in the bottom of the first inning after that leadoff double by White. Breaking ball stays up high, a ball and 2 strikes.
You can see by that last shot that we had, a good angle. Watch it, a little bit wider stance, and he will not take a stride any more than maybe an inch or 2. Kind of just pick your foot up, set it right back down.
Quick hands, quick swing. The barrel of the bat is right through that hitting area very quickly. Way outside, ball 2, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And probably the greatest hitter in the history of the game that would hit like that was Joe DiMaggio. Because Joe DiMaggio took practically no stride at all. Very similar to that of Molitor.
He had that wide stance.
But he had the wide stance.
He was already out there. 1 on, nobody out. Swing and a foul off the glove of catcher Chris Widger. Still 2-2. On Molly on deck is second baseman Robbie Alomar. Blue Jays last place in the American League East, having their problems this year. But man, 1 through 6, they got some kids at the bottom of the order, but 1 through 6 they can do some damage. No score first inning. Ground ball left side. Backhanded by Rodriguez. The long toss across, and it's in time to get Paul Molitor one away. And welcome back, Alex Rodriguez.
Boy, it didn't take very long to test that young man's arm. He makes a good play, and the key to making this play is to watch the way that he sets up his feet. He gets his feet planted underneath him. Watch this. And then he comes over with a good, strong throw. He doesn't have the off-balance throw. The off-balance throw will not get the ball to first base quicker than the way he just did it.
And he came right over the top, and
Absolutely.
he just fired a strike to Tino. Robbie Alomar takes a Torres pitch, strike one call to the outside corner, 0-1. Robbie batting .318, 11 home runs, 43 runs batted in. The only All-Star representative this year for Toronto. They had 6 last year. 1 on, 1 away. Bottom of the first, no score. In the dirt, knocked down by Widger. Good job to keep Devon White at second base. That ball bounced about a foot out in front of the plate, and Devon White has to stay at second.
Yeah, but that's what that chest protector is for. Look where this ball lands. You're right, about a foot. Well, it may have
A little bit.
Yeah, that may have, that may have hit the plate. Nevertheless, that's what the chest protector's for.
Swing and a miss, and a good breaking ball. 1-2. Might have to throw that one more time. That was a beauty.
Yeah, you can see the swing of Robbie Alomar out in front of that breaking ball. Plus the fact Torres had that ball down at the knees, or maybe even lower.
Came back with a fastball, low and inside. Ball 2, 2-2. Robbie's brother Sandy had a big day yesterday. A couple of home runs. Look at that, 462 hitter in that 4-game series. Chop wide of the mound, taken by Torres, wheels around, does a 360, looks at third, goes to first base for the out on Robbie Alomar. Solomon Torres was all over the place, but that is out number 2, and he gets a dangerous hitter in Robbie Alomar as White takes off and makes it to third.
I'm not too sure as quickly as Torres got off the mound, if he didn't have a play at third base, if Strange gets back in time. But you have to make sure you get at least one out in that particular play there. But look how quickly Torres gets off the mound. He's ready to throw. And he says, nah.
He got some help from either Widger or Tino to say, let's go ahead and get Robbie Alomar at first base, 2 outs. And here's left fielder Joe Carter, and he takes a Torres pitch for ball 1.
Well, this is the dragon that we talked about earlier at the very opening of the telecast. And Joe Carter has hit extremely well against the Mariners here in Toronto.
Fastball in that handcuff Widger. Swing and a miss by Carter, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. And Widger may have been crossed up, and he wants to talk things over with Solomon Torres.
Yeah, one's a fastball, two's a curve. Timeout's been called. Whenever they go out there, yeah. Well, you got 2 young players out there, and they probably both forgot to mention to the umpire, but the umpire was well ahead of them. Yeah, one's a fastball, two's a curve.
And with a runner out at third base, you want to make sure you're on the same page. And don't cross up your catcher. Now look at this, the fastball. Now Widger's looking for the breaking ball, and that fastball came up and in and got him right off his wrist.
Well, you saw Widger turn the glove over. When he saw the pitch start off that low, he's thinking breaking ball, that ball's going to be in the dirt, so he turned the glove over to make the play that way. The only trouble is it didn't break.
Came right in on him.
That's a fastball off the wrist.
Good job by Widger. Runner third, 2 outs. 1-1 the count on Joe Carter. Carter's in a slump, only 4 hits in his last 40 at bats. You don't want to wake up this guy. 14 home runs. Slider low and away. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, he may be 4 for his last 40, but here at the Sky Dome this year, he's a .318 hitter. And on the year, he's batting only .259. So you get him out of this place, he's not nearly as dangerous.
High and outside, ball 3, 3-1. Torres dropped down a little bit. That pitch. Waiting on deck, first baseman John Olerud, the American League Player of the Week from July 10th through the 16th. Did a lot of damage against the Mariners back home in Seattle right after the break. Pops him up. Shortstop Alex Rodriguez over toward the left field line, shallow left field, and he makes the catch. And Solomon Torres, outstanding job to get himself out of a jam after that leadoff double by White. The Blue Jays cannot score, and after one here in Toronto at the Skydome, no score. Young Solomon Torres, good job to get out of trouble in the bottom of the first inning. Right fielder Jay Buhner leads off the second, and he takes an Edwin Hurtado pitch for ball one. Jay in a great groove right now. Check swing, but did he go? A strike, 1-1. Last 11 ball games, 6 home runs for Buhner and 15 runs batted in. For the year, hitting .288. 2-1. Jay's a streak hitter, and he's in a pretty good stretch right now that really started, I think, Ron, right before the All-Star break in Cleveland when he hit home runs in back-to-back games. Fouled away, 2-2 on Jay.
Well, since the disabled list for Jay, been batting at a .292 clip. During that time, he's hit 7 home runs and driven in 20.
Has 15 home runs on the year, 52 RBIs. Swing and a miss at a fastball dropped by the catcher. Angel Martinez makes the tag on Buhner. Strike 3, and already Edwin Hurtado has fanned 3 in the game.
I don't think Jay knew exactly how many strikes he had. I think he thought that first strike was a ball.
Catcher Chris Widger getting work from trainer Rick Griffin. He took that fastball off his left wrist, as we mentioned, in the bottom of the first inning when he was crossed up by Solomon Torres. They're putting some of that ethyl chloride spray that freezes the area and numbs it.
Pain go away.
Pain go away. Warren Newson takes strike 1 on the inside corner, 0-1. Warren for the year batting .231, 3 home runs and 9 runs batted in. Played in his 3rd game since coming over from the Chicago White Sox, for a player to be named later. Up and away, ball 1, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, we saw the way that the Brewers like to pitch to Warren Newson, and we already have seen what the Blue Jays have in mind. First pitch was inside. They want to stay in there.
On a play on the third base side, 1-2 on Warren.
You see that Newson stands well off the plate, likes the ball away. So right now, Blue Jays crowding him with pitches, trying to keep that fastball right in on the belt.
Up and in, ball 2, 2-2. I think the guy that I saw who stood the farthest away from home plate was the great Roberto Clemente, but he had great plate coverage. He could stride into the pitch and take that pitch in the outside corner and drive it. Fouled away behind the plate. Still 2-2 on Newson, but he was way back and way off the plate.
John Kruk stands as far away from the plate as anyone in baseball today. There are a few guys that like to stand deep and well off the plate.
Full count, 3-2. Waiting on deck for the Mariners, third baseman Doug Strange. No score here in the top of the second. 1 out, nobody on. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So back-to-back strikeouts for Edwin Hurtado here in the top of the second. And he chalks up strikeout number 4.
Look at this pitch right here. It looked like he took something off that pitch. That ball tailing away. A big stride by Newson. But it was the velocity and the speed that had him fooled.
Here's third baseman Doug Strange batting .276. Fastball is high, ball 1. Doug, 1 home run that came against the Orioles in Baltimore off of Allen Mills. 14 runs batted in. He's done a great job off the bench as a pinch hitter throughout the year. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Man, this kid is something. Edwin Hurtado, 6 2/3 innings in relief in his last outing. Beat the Mariners in Seattle Sunday, July the 16th. Came on for the injured Woody Williams. High and outside, ball 2, 2-1. And he's not bashful, Ron. I mean, he goes right after the hitters, comes in with that fastball, the breaking ball.
Well, you like to see young pitchers go out there and challenge the hitters. And really what he's doing is that when he does miss, he's missing well off the plate.
Fly ball in the gap in left center. Devon White on the run, and Carter, this one is near the track and off the top of the fence. Doug Strange in at second base with a 2-out double, and the Mariners have their first base hit of the ball game. So he takes that 2-1 pitch and he drives it the other way deep into left center field.
Wasn't a bad pitch that time. Furtado kept the ball down low. It's just that Strange went down there and dug that ball out. Almost bounced over the fence for a ground rule double. If Strange had a little bit more speed, that might have been a triple. Nevertheless, he is in scoring position.
And he's on at second with double number 6, and here's catcher Chris Widger, batting .333. Pops one to center, shallow, and Devon White is there. Waits for it, and he makes the catch for round number 3. No runs, a base hit, no errors, and a man left on. We go to the bottom of the second here at Sky Dome. Mariners nothing, the Blue Jays nothing. We go to the bottom of the second here at Sky Dome in Toronto. No score. Blue Jays pitching coach Galen Cisco talking things over with his young catcher, just 22 years of age, Angel Martinez. Early in this ball game, Edwin Hurtado as well, and he's off to a good start. He has 4 strikeouts in the ball game. So this is a very young battery going tonight in game 1 for the Toronto Blue Jays. Hurtado on the mound, and Angel Martinez, who wants to be called Sandy now. That's his middle name. Talking things over with a guy that's been around for a long time, Galen Cisco.
Yeah, Angel, call me Sandy Martinez.
Here's call me John Olerud from Bellevue, Washington. John hitting .258. Takes a Solomon Torres pitch just outside, ball 1. John with 6 home runs, 3 against the Mariners in that 4-game series back home, and 28 runs batted in. So with a sweet swing from the left side of the plate. Low, ball 2, 2-0. Against the Mariners, .545 average. Those 3 home runs, 1 a grand slam, and 7 runs batted in. Pops him up third base way. Doug Strange, Chris Widger near the dugout, maybe a play, and Widger can't get to it. Kind of made a leap at the last second. It's been a rough night already. We're only in the second for Chris Widger.
I think Widger was waiting for Strange to call him off that particular. You can see him looking, and then all of a sudden out the corner of his eye, now he's going to go after it. Doesn't quite know where the dugout is, and I think he just misjudged it. It was catchable.
Long way to go. Widger went after it right in front of the Blue Jay dugout. The count is 2-1 on Olerud, and there is a called strike 2. Solomon Torres got out of a jam by getting Joe Carter to pop up in the bottom of the first inning. Devon White was left stranded over at third base. Inside, full count on John. Out of Interlake High School and starting college at Washington State for the Cougars. One of 16 at the time to go right from the June draft to the major leagues. On deck, Ed Sprague. Popped up center field. Rich Amaral in on the ball. Calls for it, and on the run makes the catch. 1 away. Hey kids, McDonald's and the Mariners have teamed up for one of the biggest promotional nights of the year. It's called Bat Night. Bat Night is Saturday, July the 29th, when the Mariners host the Indians. Game time 7:05. The first 18,000 youngsters 14 and under will take home a full-size Louisville Slugger bat, complete with Ken Griffey Jr.'s signature engraved right on the barrel. Once again, that's McDonald's Bat Night, Saturday, July the 29th, against the Tribe. For tickets, call 622-HITS. Third baseman Ed Sprague takes ball 1. Batting .274, 12 home runs, 40 runs batted in. Ball 2. Solomon Torres trying to even up his record.
Funny how the game works out sometimes for you. Take Ed Sprague for an example. He's hit 12 home runs. 10 of them have been solo home runs.
2-1.
And when your team is playing well and your team is winning, if you hit 12 home runs, chances are only 2 of them are solo, and the rest of them have men on base, and so far you drive in more runs and you win more games.
Fouled away, 2-2.
But you have years where you may put up good numbers, and certainly Ed Sprague has been very consistent for the Blue Jays, but he's having a year that when he hits home runs, they seem to be solo jobs. Yeah.
And the Blue Jays have struggled offensively. Devon White bothered by a strained hamstring earlier in the year. Fouled away again by Sprague. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. And not only that, Cito Gaston said when the Blue Jays were in Toronto that it's not just the offense, pitching problems. Breaking ball, got him looking, strike 3, and Solomon Torres has his first strikeout tonight. Right on the inside corner, and Sprague is down on strikes.
I think this time you see that breaking ball fooled Sprague just a little bit. He wasn't looking for that one at all.
So 2 outs for Solomon Torres. No score here in the second. Brings up right fielder Sean Green. Ground ball left side. Strange with a dive. Can't get to it. Base hit in left field for Sean Green. Blue Jays have a runner aboard with 2 outs. 1 through 6 in this lineup, Fred. A lot of veteran type players like Mauldin and White and Carter, Alomar. But at the bottom 3, you have the youngsters in Green, Martinez, and Perez. And if you're the Blue Jays, you're going to like these 3 guys.
I think we were talking to Tom Cheek when the team was in Seattle. Tom was saying in all the years he's been here every year that announcing for him since they've been in existence, the Blue Jays probably have as good a young talent in their minor leagues as he has ever seen. And that says a lot for these 3 young players batting in that bottom third of the order.
Angel Martinez takes ball 1. And at times where the Blue Jays were fighting for pennants and going to the World Series, where they would trade for a veteran player like a Ricky Henderson and giving up a Steve Carsey, or trying to pick up a David Cone, which they did back in '92 to help out and win a World Series, they still didn't deplete the farm system. 2-0 on Angel Martinez. Batting .255, a home run, and 5 runs batted in. This kid just 22. Fouls away the pitch. 2 balls and a strike. It's turned out to be a beautiful night here in Toronto. The Sky Dome roof is wide open. 79 degrees game time temperature at the first pitch. Throw to first base, and Green gets back. Great place for the fans here in Toronto to watch a ball game. When the weather's bad, the roof is closed. When the weather's beautiful like tonight, wide open spaces. Best of both worlds. Swing and a foul off the catcher, Chris Widger. Count is even on Martinez. Angel Martinez, 2-2. Angel Martinez, big throw back on June the 27th when he hit his first major league home run. That came at Fenway Park off of Roger Clemens. Full count, 3-2. One on, 2 outs for the Blue Jays. Green takes off, and it's ball 3 to Angel Martinez, or excuse me, ball 4. He walks, and the Blue Jays have runners at first and second. First walk given up by Solomon Torres. Lou Piniella hoping his ball club can get on a stretch, a good stretch, and stay there. They have won 3 of their last 4 ball games, and 3 of the last 4 games have been extra inning ball games. Last 2 extra innings against the Brewers in Milwaukee. Then going back 4 days ago, the Mariners won in 10 innings. 10-6 over the Tigers back home in Seattle, and a grand slam home run in the bottom of the 10th by Tino Martinez. Shortstop Tomas Perez, a swing and a miss, 0-1.
That time he had the fastball right on by Perez. Come back with it. He was so far behind that one, he's not going to catch up to it. If that's the swing that Perez is going to feature, then just feature fastballs.
Green on at second. Angel Martinez at first base. Fastball again, up and in. That had some steam on it too, and the count is even on Perez at 1 ball and 1 strike.
See that fastball up and in? Watch the way some guys react to that pitch. That'll teach them from diving out over the plate.
Perez batting 182, no home runs and 1 RBI. Rule 5 draft pick up by the Blue Jays off the California Angels roster. Perez, a switch hitter. Fouled away behind the plate, and the count is now 1-2. I think he'll get another fastball here and in on his hands.
Might break his bat if you do.
2 on, 2 outs. And it sails away. Ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Mariners with 1 base hit. Blue Jays have a couple. A double by Devon White in the first inning and a 2-out single by Shawn Green here in the second. Ground ball, diving stop, Strange at third, toss across, and they get him. Holy smoke, what a play by Doug Strange to save a run. He robs Tomas Perez of a base hit, and he gets him over at first base to retire the side. Otherwise, Shawn Green scores from second base. What a play by Doug Strange, and after 2 innings of play here in Toronto, no score. Well, thanks to Doug Strange, this is still a scoreless tie as we go to the top of the 3rd inning. The Blue Jays, after 2 outs, put runners out at first and second, and then young Tomas Perez hits this shot up the third base line. The diving stop by Doug Strange, then a good throw. And a close play at first base.
Yeah, that may have saved a couple of runs.
Doug Strange with a great defensive play. Right now, that's our play of the ball game. And Doug gets a well-deserved breather back inside that dugout. Young shortstop Alex Rodriguez leads off the top of the 3rd inning and takes ball 1 from Edwin Hurtado. Welcome back, Alex. This is his 3rd stint with the ball club. Down and away, ball 2, 2 balls and no strikes in yesterday's ball game. Alex batting .257 for the year. He picks up these numbers where he left off. A couple of home runs and 9 runs batted in. Well hit left center field. Devon White on the run, and this one is caught by White. Up against the fence, a tee shot deep in left center field. Devon White, Gold Glove outfielder, puts that glove on display, and he robs Rodriguez of an extra base hit. 1 away.
Low fastball. And you can see just a few strides before Devon White got to the ball, kind of eased up just a little bit. He knew he had it.
He is something to watch in center field, and makes a fine running catch on the ball hit by Alex Rodriguez. So 1 out, and here's second baseman Joey Cora. Strike on Joey, 0-1. You get a chance to watch Ken Griffey Jr. Fans in Toronto get to watch Devon White. Ground ball right at Robbie Alomar. 2 outs. Probably one of the best second basemen in all of baseball. And Carlos Baerga, one of the others. Brings up center fielder Rich Amaral. Mariners with only 1 base hit. And that was the 2-out double by Doug Strange into left center field. Amaral is 0 for 1. He struck out in the first inning. Fastball hit on the ground up the middle into center field. A base hit for Rich Amaral. So the Mariners have base hit number 2. And with 2 outs, a man on.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what the Mariners do second time through the lineup.
They get a chance to take a look at Hurtado one more time. They saw quite a bit of him his last time out in long relief on Sunday, July the 16th at the Kingdom. But now the second time around tonight. Solid base hit by Rich Amaral, and here's designated hitter Edgar Martinez. Throw to first base. Rich gets back. He can run. 15 stolen bases.
We've commented several times about opposing batters standing as far deep in the batter's box as they can stand, and pointing that out. Well, Edgar Martinez may not be in the batter's box either.
Maybe a little bit out of it. 0-1 the count on Edgar. He is way back in that batter's box. A lot of hitters like to just scrape the back line out with their foot. Even some umpires I've seen do it. Edgar, you can see that back foot is way back there.
Yeah, I know his heel is out of the batter's box.
Fly ball, well hit, left center field. Devon White going back to the warning track. He's got a beat on it, and he makes the catch for out number 3. Well hit ball into the alley in left center field, but that is all for the Mariners in the 3rd inning. What a show defensively in this ball game by both sides. We go to the bottom of the 3rd, still no score. Back once again, everybody. Rick Riz along with Dave Niehaus and Ron Fairley. Nice crowd as usual here at Sky Dome in Toronto. No scores. We go to inning number 3 for the Blue Jays. Good defense by both sides. A great play by Doug Strange to save a run, maybe 2 in the 2nd. And by this guy right here, Devon White, and a ball hit by Alex Rodriguez leading off the top of the 3rd. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball. Devon White, he's 1 for 1, a leadoff double. That was just fair down the left field line in the 1st inning. One ball and 1 strike. Just 3 for 18 against Seattle. Devon White with 1 run batted in. Good to see Solomon back on the mound after his battles with back spasms. It hasn't started since that last game prior to the All-Star break. They beat the Indians in Cleveland on July the 9th. Won that game 9-3. Bounced foul up the first base side. 2-2 on White. Hey, fan brought his glove out to the ball game and it paid off. Makes a nice catch. Ground ball fouled away again on the first base side. Still 2-2 on Devon White. Solomon Torres with the San Francisco Giants earlier this year. Picked up in a trade for minor leaguer Sean Estes and Wilson Delgado. Fastball, line drive, left field one more time. In there for a base hit. Over to get it near the line is Newson. White heading for second. The throw is not in time. Devon White for the 2nd time tonight with a leadoff double.
I think both those pitches that White hit were about the same spot, low and inside, and White was just trying to fight that ball off and ends up with a couple of doubles out of it.
And for the 2nd time, Solomon Torres has to take a look at Paul Molitor with White on at second base.
Might be
0 for 1.
Might be a little tough going through Molitor, Alomar, and Carter for that guy at second base. Got away with it the last time. Can he do it again?
Back in the 1st inning, Molitor bounced out to Rodriguez at short. A swing and a miss. 0-1. Robbie Alomar bounced back to Solomon Torres for the 2nd out, and then Joe Carter popped up to Alex Rodriguez in shallow left field. Ground ball, 1 hopper, make it to Strange at 3rd. Doug checks the runner, goes to 1st for the out on Molitor. 1 away. White has to stay at second base. So another big out for Solomon Torres with Devon White at second base. Brings up second baseman Robbie Alomar.
Talking about the last time these teams got together, how the Mariners had a rough time hitting with men in scoring position. Blue Jays now are 0 for 5 tonight with men in scoring position.
Starts him off with a good breaking ball for a strike. 0-1. Mariners were 1 for 8 yesterday. With runners in scoring position, won that ball game in 13 innings at Milwaukee. Line drive on a hop, make it knocked down by Rodriguez, picks it back up. He had a play and everybody is safe. That will go as an error on shortstop Alex Rodriguez. If he gloves it, he has Alomar at first base. Devon White is now on at third base. Alomar safe at first. 2 on with only 1 out for left fielder Joe Carter. Alex Rodriguez arrived prior to the ball game, and I mean right before the ball game. He was still dressing when I came up to the television booth about an hour before game time. He had to get here to Toronto and clear customs. Here's Joe Carter, 0 for 1. He has popped up to Alex Rodriguez in shallow left field. Ground ball. Diving stop, Doug Strange. Toss across and he gets him. Holy smoke, another great play by Doug Strange to save another run. Devon White stays at third, Alomar down to second, but this time Strange just flat out robs Joe Carter. What a play.
Well, you talk about a great play. You're absolutely right, but what in the world was Devon White doing staying at third base? Look at this play one more time. This looked like it was going to be right down the line, and White stays there. Had he gone right away, Strange had no chance. His only play was at first base.
And the throw was absolutely perfect to Tino Martinez to rob Joe Carter. What made it so tough, Ron? He had to dive to his right, and that ball came up on him. And he made the great backhanded diving stop. So 2 on and 2 outs. And the second tremendous effort by Doug Strange already in this game. We're only in the bottom of the third. They'll take the bat away from John Olerud with first base unoccupied, and there's ball 1. So Olerud will get the intentional walk to load the bases, and they'll take their chances with a right-handed bat against the right-hander Torres. Ed Sprague is due up next, and there is ball 2. Lou Piniella working on the bubble. Solomon Torres is on the bubble. They'll have the bases loaded with 2 outs and have to try to take care of Ed Sprague. And there is ball 4. So John Olerud tosses the bat away. It's a second walk given up by Solomon Torres. An intentional walk here in the third. Last time Solomon faced Ed Sprague, he struck him out. And a 2-2 slider right on the inside corner. Now let's see how Solomon goes after Sprague here in the third. Solomon with some good zip on his fastball tonight and a good slider. Key pitch right here is the first one, and it misses though, low and outside, ball 1. With the bases loaded, you want to get out in front 0-1 instead of going 1-0. Sprague batting .274. No score, bottom of the third. Bases are loaded. Up high, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Devon White led off the inning with a double. Paul Molitor grounded out to Strange at third base. Robbie Alomar safe on the air by Rodriguez. Joe Carter robbed of a base hit by Strange at third. Then the intentional walk to Olerud. Well hit ball deep to left field. Newson going back to the track to the wall. Gone. Grand slam home run by Ed Sprague. And the Blue Jays take a 4-0 lead. Sprague, home run number 13 on the season. He got a pitch right out over the plate.
We were just talking his last time up about the fact that 10 of his 12 home runs have been solo jobs.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. 10 of his last 13 may be solo jobs. but his 13th home run, a grand slam.
Sean Green fouls one down the right field side, and it's 0-1. All 4 runs are unearned. A lot of fireworks after that home run and a cloud of smoke above the infield. Look at that haze from the fireworks. Low to Green, ball 1, 1 ball and 1 strike. Ed Sprague, a grand slam home run. That's his 2nd grand slam home run this season. Ball 2, 2-1. Looking through that center field camera right through the smoke of the fireworks. Green is 1 for 1, a single into left field. Popped up in behind third base. Doug Strange will have a play. He makes a catch, and that will retire the side. But not before the Blue Jays come away with 4 runs on 1 2-base hits. A grand slam home run by Ed Sprague. And after 3 innings of play, the Blue Jays have a 4-0 lead. Well, the Toronto Blue Jays now lead by a score of 4-0 after a grand slam home run by Ed Sprague in the bottom of the 3rd. Top of the 4th, Tino drives one deep to right field. If it's fair, it's gone. It is a fair ball. Goodbye, baseball. Tino Martinez on the first pitch hits a shot just fair down that right field line, and the Mariners get on the board. It's now the Blue Jays 4 and the Mariners 1 on Tino's 21st home run of the season. And for Tino, that's a career high. He had 20 all of last year. So Tino doesn't waste any time getting the Mariners on the board after the Blue Jays took that 4-0 lead in the 3rd. And Ron, that was a tee shot.
Only question whether it was going to stay fair or not. Boy, that had plenty of room beyond the right field fence. And as it turned out, it was fair by quite a distance.
Jay Buhner takes ball 1. Tino, what a year. 21 home runs, now with 70 runs batted in. He leads the American League in RBIs. Ball 2, 2-0 on Jay Buhner. Young man from Tampa has been red hot, especially here in July. Inside, ball 3, 3-0. So this is a big inning right here for the Mariners to answer back after that slam by Sprague, and the Mariners have done so. High and outside, ball 4. So Jay Buhner draws a walk on 4 straight pitches. And that 2nd time around the order has been tough on both starters in this game. Manager Cito Gaston has had some problems injury-wise this year. Edwin Hurtado gets the start, his first in the big leagues tonight. One on, nobody out, 1 run in, and here's left fielder Warren Newson. Newson 0 for 1. He struck out in the top of the 2nd. On a hop out to Olerud. Down to 2nd for 1. Back to the pitcher Hurtado, and it is. Hello, Ken Kaiser, and I guess he's safe. Really didn't see the out call or the safe call by Ken Kaiser. Maybe I missed it, but Newson is safe over for now. The safe call. Newson missed the bag.
That's the reason you didn't see the call. He hasn't made the call yet. All you had to do is step in the bag. That's the reason you didn't see the call. Umpire can't make the call until the runner steps in the bag.
Well, I thought maybe I missed it. The throw down to 2nd to the shortstop Perez. Now the throw back to Hurtado covering.
He never touched first base either.
Well, it looked like to me from up here, but Ken Kaiser had the good look at it. But I thought he touched the backside of the bag, but no, he ran right over it. Popped up by Doug Strange. Robbie Alomar in behind first base, and he's got it for the 2nd out.
You know, I'm laughing because not only did the runner not touch the bag, but the pitcher didn't touch it either.
Newson finally did when he walked back over, so that was a heads-up play. And Ken Kaiser, the right call was no call in that situation because it wasn't anything until something happened, and that something was Newson getting back to the bag. Chris Widger takes a pitch outside.
You mentioned just before that last play about the 2nd time through the lineup. That's why it is so important, if you have not seen a pitcher before and you're really not familiar, to take a look at some pitches so that the second time around the lineup you have a better idea what to expect.
Ground ball to short. Perez to Alomar for the force on Newson at second base to retire the side. Well, the Mariners get 1 run back on the leadoff home run by Tino Martinez here in the 4th inning. After 3.5 innings of play in Toronto, it's the Blue Jays 4, the Mariners 1. July the 21st, 1961, the Los Angeles Angels beat the Senators 16-5 at Wrigley Field in Los Angeles. The two teams left 30 men on base, tying the major league record for a 9-inning game. Both teams left 15 on. Leading off the bottom of the 4th inning, catcher Angel Martinez, fly ball to left, and Warren Newson is right there. 1 pitch and 1 away. It's not a real good job hitting with runners in scoring position. 30 left on that day in that game between Los Angeles and Washington.
And the thing that's interesting is that's a little tiny, that was a very little ballpark.
Wrigley Field.
Yeah. Direct left field, almost left center field, was only 345.
Shortstop Tomas Perez, he swings at the first pitch. Pops it up third base side. Doug Strange with a play, and he makes the catch out in front of the Blue Jays dugout. So 2 pitches and 2 outs for Solomon Torres here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Doug Strange has been all over the place in this ball game. 2 great plays defensively at third base. He has a double. Solomon Torres looking for win number 4. Right now the Mariners trail by 3 at 4-1. Center fielder Devon White. He is 2 for 2 with 2 doubles and a run scored. Fastball strike. Four runs for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 3rd on a grand slam home run by Ed Sprague. 1-1. Well hit ball to right field. On the run, Jay Buhner, and this one is on the track and over the wall on a hop. Another double for Devon White, his 3rd. Solomon Torres cannot keep Devon White off of second base. 3 at bats, 3 doubles.
Boy, when that ball was first struck, I thought it had a chance to leave the yard. But Jay, playing over more into right center field, could not get to the ball in time. And a ground rule double.
So Devon doubles for the 3rd time. He's at second, but with 2 down this time. And here's designated hitter Paul Molitor. Molly at age 38 takes a slider inside, ball 1. Seemed like over the last 4 years he was getting better and better and better. Big numbers with the Toronto Blue Jays when he came over. He was the MVP of the 1993 World Series in their 6-game win over the Philadelphia Phillies. Got off to a slow start in the first half of the season. Very busy during the offseason with the negotiations between the Players Association and the owners. Starting to get back on track with that bat. Breaking ball, strike at the knees. 2-1. Another breaking ball, and it's strike 2. 2-2 the count. Fly ball into left center field on the run. Newson and Amaral. Rich Amaral gets there, and he makes the catch for out number 3. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on. The Blue Jays have stranded 4. We go to the top of the 5th inning. Toronto 4, the Mariners 1. Inside Skydome here in Toronto, the Blue Jays have a 4-1 lead. Beautiful ballpark. here in Toronto that opened up back in 1989. Their first game, the Blue Jays' first game against the Milwaukee Brewers. Blue Jays averaging right around 40,000 fans a game this year. This is some kind of place. Sky Dome Hotel out there in center field. Top of the 5th inning. Shortstop Alex Rodriguez will lead things off against right-hander Edwin Hurtado. Alex hit the ball hard his first time up. Lined out deep to left center field. Nice running catch at the fence by Devon White. Ball 1. Alex, big numbers down at AAA Tacoma. Batted .367 with the Rainiers with 12 home runs and 33 runs batted in. And this guy can play some kind of shortstop.
Here you take a look at Alex. He's 6'3", weighs 200 pounds. And you forget that he's just 19, 20 years old.
He's growing.
Yeah. I mean, he's got all the physical tools. He just needs experience. Any question about him going to be able to play up here?
Fouled away up the third base side. 2-2 on Alex. He got a little bit of experience last year. Short time with the Mariners. The second half last season. Now it looks like he's going to have a chance to play pretty much every day at shortstop. Down and away. Ball 3. Full count. Luis Sojo, I'm still has got to be hurting. I mean, he took 2 foul balls off his left ankle in yesterday's game against the Brewers in Milwaukee. And he was hurting. Still sore. Down and away. Ball 4. So Alex Rodriguez with a leadoff walk here in the 5th inning. 1 on, and that'll bring up second baseman Joey Cora. Say, fans, the Mariners are proud to present Banner Night coming up on Friday, July the 28th. Mariners take on the Indians at 7:35. If you bring a banner, you could have the chance to win great prizes, including a trip or 2 to Oakland to catch the Mariners A's series August the 4th through the 6th. Banners should not exceed 3 feet in height. Once again, that's Banner Night 1 week from tonight. For tickets, call 622-HITS.
And I think that is only the second base on balls that Alex has drawn this year. He doesn't walk that much.
He's up there swinging, but it's nice to take a few base on balls along the way. Be a little more patient. So that's a good sign right there. Here's Joey Cora, 0 for 2. He's lined out to left and also bounced out to Alomar at second base. Inside, ball 1. And Ron, if you're Cito Gaston, you got to be keeping your eyes on Edwin Hurtado, his first major league start. Yes, he has started down in the minor leagues. So I'm sure they're going to keep a watch on his pitch count. And that's inside, ball 2, 2-0. So he walks Alex Rodriguez, and now he's 2-0 on Joey Cora.
Well, he's very young. He's strong. And as you have pointed out, he has started several games down in the minor leagues, so this is nothing new for him.
2-1. He makes the jump from Double-A Knoxville this year into the big leagues. Hard and smash right at all the road. He takes it, steps on the bag to double up. Alex Rodriguez, 2 outs. Hard hit ball by Joey Cora, and John Olerud makes the catch right off his shoe tops.
Boy, either catch it or get hit in the foot. And he caught that in the air, and Alex being doubled off of first base. No way anybody can get back on a ball hit like that.
Rich Amaral takes a pitch, ball 1. First reaction, a step to your right after you see the hard hit ball, and boom, it's hit right at John Olerud. Amaral is 1 for 2. He singled sharply into center field in the 3rd. High 1 bounce out to Sprague at third base, and that's out number 3. So despite a leadoff walk, 1-2-3, the Mariners story in the 5th inning. We're at the halfway point here at Sky Dome in Toronto. The Blue Jays lead 4-1.
Well, hello again, everybody. Dave Niehaus with you now as we go into the bottom half of the 5th inning here at Sky Dome in Toronto. Long ball show so far. It's been it, huh?
Yeah, grand slam, and then Tino getting into the act once again. What a year Tino was having.
Unbelievable year for Tino. And ironically, all 4 of the runs scored by the Toronto Blue Jays are unearned because of the error by Alex Rodriguez. But there they are, 4-1, Blue Jays. And it was Robbie Alomar who hit that ground ball to Alex. It handcuffed him a little bit in the 3rd inning. Well, it's not the same here, is it? I mean, 50,000 usually every game, and we're probably looking at 30,000. The Blue Jays struggling, 11 games back. Ground ball toward the hole. Now Alex Rodriguez is going to make a spectacular play, I believe. Not quite in time as Robbie slides in head first.
That's nothing but the speed of Robbie Alomar who beat that base hit out. But Alex made a tremendous play, backhanding the ball and then stopping on the carpet. It's not easy to do on this stuff. But nevertheless, ball in the dirt, scooped up by Tino. And the young man can play shortstop.
So Alomar is at first base, and here's Joe Carter. Doug Strange has made a couple of spectacular plays at third base in this game, not the least of which was the last time Joe Carter was up at the plate with 2 on. And a great play by Strange, got the 2nd out, but then the intentional base on balls, and then bingo, the long ball. 2nd grand slam home run this year by Ed Sprague. And that's the way the Blue Jays manufactured their 4 runs. It has been a lovely day here in Ontario today. Temperature probably a little over 80. This man just wears out the Mariners in Toronto. Joe Carter. Breaking ball inside to him. And the count of the ball and a strike. All kinds of trade rumors with the trading deadline of 10 days hence, the 31st of July. Talking about this guy maybe going back to San Diego. Huge deal announced about an hour ago with Deion Sanders going to the San Francisco Giants along with 4 other players. The starter Mark Portugal, reliever Dave Burba, the ex-Mariner, and outfielder Darren Lewis. Has he made an error in his career yet?
Well, I think he made a couple, but that's about it.
Good fork ball. 1-2. So Deion is a San Francisco, was a San Francisco 49er. Now he's a San Francisco Giant. Got him on a fork ball. I'll tell you, Torres has done a marvelous job tonight. Done a great job. He's only walked 1 man, actually 2, but only 1 unintentionally. And here comes John Olerud, Lou Piniella, with runners at 2nd and 3rd. Went out and said, let's get this guy 4. Remembering from last weekend, the 4-game series in Seattle, he wore us out. And that was the right strategy. The only problem was Ed Sprague came up to the plate, and Torres immediately fell behind him 2-0. Olerud sends a ground ball to Cora, who will tag Alomar and throw to first for the double play. Or did he miss Alomar? They say he missed Alomar. Alomar ducked away from the tag.
Let's take a look at it one more time. He tagged him on the hip. Looked like he tagged him on the hip. You can see it right there.
Looks to me like he tagged him on the hip.
Yeah. And didn't the first base umpire?
Kenny Kaiser's the one who called him safe.
Did look like he put up the hand for an out, or did he say safe?
Well, we'll see if it hurts, as here is the Grand Slam man. He's hit one tonight. Ed Sprague. He's the only Blue Jay to play in every game this year.
But why wouldn't you make sure you get the lead runner?
Throw to first base. Go ahead. And get the batter at the plate. You got the other guy at second base anyway. He was only 15 feet. I mean, you could run him back, couldn't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, even though you had him stopped, why wouldn't, if you missed him, then why wouldn't you stop, throw the ball to second
base?
Throw the ball to second base?
You got John Olerud at the plate. He doesn't run well anyway.
Instead of having a runner at second base, you have a runner at first base.
One and two. Looked to me like he tagged him out, though, Ronnie.
Well, he must have missed because Cora didn't argue.
And Lou didn't argue. And Sprague should have the third out. And pulls Tino off the bag, but Sprague is tagged going by. So no runs. Kind of a defensive lapse by missing the runner. And not going to second, but the Mariners get away with it. And no score for the Toronto Blue Jays in the fourth. Another look at it. It's hard to tell from that angle, but apparently he missed him. So Kenny Kaiser, look at that. He had his right arm up, but I think he's probably calling Olerud out. He's calling Olerud out. So at any rate, we're through 5, 4-1 Toronto. Blue Jays leading it by a score of 4-1 as we go to the sixth inning, and Edgar Martinez, who hit a deep drive to Devo White his last at bat, was nicked by a pitch in the first inning. So he's 0 for 1. We'll lead it off here in the sixth. Boy, Hurtado is mighty impressive. This young man, a great minor league record, 39-5. Won his first major league game in relief in Seattle. Earned this start. Fastball to Edgar, banged toward the hole and threw on the left side. So Edgar leads it off with only the Mariners' fourth base hit of the ball game. And with a score of 4-1, let's have a look at how it has happened as we look at our scoring summary. Devo White in the bottom half of the third doubled. Robbie Alomar in the big play of the inning reached on an Alex Rodriguez error, and then John Olerud with runners at second, third intentionally walked, and then on the 2-0 pitch, bingo, boom, grand slam home run by Ed Sprague for their 4. And then Tino Martinez with a solo home run on the first pitch of the fourth inning for the Mariners 1. And he's up there one more time. Tino Martinez with his 21st home run. A career high for him. He had 20 last year. Took a little off and missed outside ball. 2 balls and no strikes. Tino, a shot up the middle. That's a base hit. So the Martinez tandem aboard now for Jay Buhner, who represents the tying run, and Buhner took Hurtado deep back in Seattle.
Well, Lou Piniella would like to see Jay do that again right here. That would tie the game. Mariners have something going. They have to be able to score at least 1 run in this inning here. They have the leadoff men get on. Runners at first and second. Mariners have to come up with at least 1 run here.
The Blue Jays the last couple of days against California have just been mashed. They've given up 10 runs in each of the last 2 days. And the Toronto Blue Jay bullpen, the worst in the American League. If you can get down into that bullpen, you got a chance of beating them. And the young catcher, Sandy Martinez, now Sandy. When he was in Seattle, he was Angel Martinez. You can see the Jay Buhner fan club is here. And his folks called the Blue Jays front office, said, hey, we've always called him Sandy. So Sandy he is. Well, what took him so long? 1-1.
You know, it could very well be, and you know of another player that had his name changed. Sometimes guys are just so happy to be in the major league, they don't care what you call them. Guy not too far from where you grew up. with the Dodgers, number 14.
Oh, Gil Hodges? Yeah, his real name was, well, that was a clerical error. His real name was Gil Hodge. And he didn't care when the secretary transcribed and put the S on the end of it. He never even went back to the secretary. So he was forever Gil Hodges. The whole family put an S on the end of their name then. So Hurtado has fallen behind Buhner, 2-1. It's Warren Newson who will be next. Those busy hands of Buhner. Well, he's been hot. Double play ball. Perez to Alomar. To Olerud. So Edgar ends up at third base, but 2 away now. That's just exactly what Hurtado needed.
See that ball hit right back up the middle, hit the side of the mound, and kind of glanced back toward the shortstop, Perez. He'd have been able to make the play easily anyway, but nevertheless, ricocheting off the mound.
Newson takes low. High heat. Mariners trying to get back to that 500 mark.
See the high leg kick and a long stride of Newsom. Very powerfully built young man, not very tall, but put together.
Fastball again, and this ball is lined into left center field. And the Mariners with runners at first and second and nobody out can't score here in the 6th inning. 2 hits, a man left. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th, still 4-1 Toronto. Well, back here at Sky Dome in Toronto, Dave Niehaus with Ron Fairley and Sean Green, the good-looking rookie right fielder who hit .344 last year at Syracuse, leads it off. 1 ball and no strikes. Green, and then Sandy Martinez, and then Tomas Perez. We talk about the trading deadline as he fouls the pitch back. 1 ball and 1 strike. 10 days away on the 31st of July, and the Blue Jays had a glimmer of hope when they came home from their last road trip. They were 9-6 on the last road trip, having won 3 of 4 in Seattle, and then went to Minnesota and won 2. The breaking ball low and inside. 2 balls and a strike, and they got to within 9 games of Boston, and they were talking, hey, maybe we should make a run at it and not only not unload some of our high-priced players, but maybe go get some more and try and win this thing. And a high chopper off the mound. Going to be a tough play for Alex Rodriguez. His throw to first. Yep, not in time. According to the big guy over there, Kenny Kaiser. As Sean Green beats it out. Sean Green has his 2nd hit.
Rodriguez comes in and makes a good play, but you can see, good call by Ken Kaiser.
So here is Sandy Martinez, who has walked and flied to left center. But after being clobbered by California, a lot of clubs that are leading divisions. I don't think Cleveland's going to go out and spend a heck of a lot of money with the lead they have in the Central. But in the National League West, for example, Deion Sanders is picked up by the San Francisco Giants today, talking about Robbie Alomar, who has Atlanta is interested in him, who will be a free agent at the end of the year. Joe Carter, they've talked about him going back to San Diego. David Cone, of course, who we'll see on Sunday. The breaking ball is a little bit high and outside, and the count of ball and a strike on Sandy Martinez, because all of a sudden they're 11 back. Sean Green driven back to the bag. the farthest back Toronto has ever been and then come back to win a division title. 10 games. They were 10 back on the 5th of July in 1989 and won the division. Slider on the outside edge. 1-2. Got some good looking young talent, and this is one of them, the young catcher. He's down on strikes. The third strikeout now for Salomon Torres. And Tomas Perez, a 22-year-old kid. They're very high on. Born in Venezuela, makes his home in the Dominican Republic. And a switch hitter.
That's a tremendous asset to be able to switch hit, always having the breaking ball breaking into you instead of away from you.
Swing and a miss. Of course, this became the gem of Canada, the drawing emerald Sky Dome when it opened. But Pat Gillick, this didn't really draw the fans to Toronto. Oh, it did. It had a lot to do with it, don't get me wrong, but Pat Gillick had put the bases together for an outstanding young ball club before they ever moved in here. Fastball is high and outside. They had a little to plug in with free agents, but Gillick had done, and his staff had done such a great job, but by the time they moved in here, they were contenders.
Yeah, they had a good team. They had speed, they had some power, and they had some good pitching, and they had a guy down there that had a good closer in the bullpen.
And a ground ball hit to Cora. He'll spin and go to Alex Rodriguez, who'll jump out of the way of the onrushing Sean Green. So 2 down. Friends, Cairo TV and Southwest Airlines invite you to enter the Southwest Airlines Superfan Contest. The winner and a friend will travel to Oakland to see the Mariners battle the A's on August the 17th. The package includes round-trip airfare, hotel accommodations, and game tickets. To enter, send a 3x5 postcard with your name, your address, and your phone number to the address right here on your screen. And you could be a Southwest Airlines Superfan. Devo White has 3 doubles. The club record is 4 in the game by Damaso Garcia against the New York Yankees in 1986. And he already has 3. Not going to find that forkball. 0-2. Blue Jays lead it on the slam by Ed Sprague, if you just tuned our way. Popped him up that time. And little Warren Newson puts it in the well. No problem for Salomon Torres, who quite frankly has pitched a heck of a ball game. He's made one mistake. Quite frankly, it should be 1-0 Seattle, but it's 4-1 Toronto as we go to the 7th. Well, there we go into the 7th inning of play, and third baseman Doug Strange starts it off for the Mariners. He has a double and a couple of trips to the plate. Hurtado misses high, ball 1 ball and no strikes, but he brought a lot of leather with him tonight. He has made 2 outstanding defensive plays in this ball game. Two 2-0 on Doug Strange. You were an original Toronto Blue Jay, Ronnie, back in 1977. I remember watching that opener over at Exhibition Stadium. On the inside corner for a strike, Ken Brett was pitching for the Chicago White Sox, and it was a blizzard, as I recall.
Yes, it was.
On a change, the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. What do you remember about that year?
Well, I remember the great fan support that we had. And they came out to the ballpark and they rooted us on quite a bit. Just we had limited ability on that team that year.
Off the end of the bat to third, picked up there by Sprague, and he'll throw into the runner but still get Doug Strange. So 1 down, and time for tonight's trivia quiz, brought to you by your nearest Oldsmobile retailer. Remember, it's your money. The question is, name the Blue Jay who holds team records in 9 of 18 offensive categories. Give the answer in the 8th inning. Here's Chris Widger, the Mariner catcher, with 1 down in the 7th.
I think one of the things that I remember was the opening game. The fact that is that about an hour before the game, the field was white.
Right down the heart of the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Who was it that hit 2 home runs in that first game?
Doug Alt.
Doug Alt. Did you get any hits?
I didn't play. Roy Hartsfield looked at me and he said, "Redhead, you don't have to play in this kind of weather. You go in the clubhouse, have some coffee."
2-2. Boy, Mr. Edwin Hurtado, getting his first major league start after getting his first major league win in Seattle last weekend, as I'm quite sure impressed Cito Gaston and Galen Cisco with his poise out there on the hill, but he's had it throughout his minor league career. And on the hands, did he go? He did.
Did he go around too far? Yeah, I think he went around a bit too far. Strikeout number 5.
And here is Alex. Alex Rodriguez hit a ball I really thought was gone, but Devo White knew it wasn't. He caught it a step from the wall and crashed into the wall back in the 3rd inning. Still remember that shot before he was sent down for the 2nd time at Comiskey Park in Chicago, where he hit it up on the hitting backdrop in the dead center field. And that ball is tattooed deep into left center, and White just looks up, and that will fly away. So welcome back, Alex. Alex Rodriguez with his 3rd home run, his 3rd major league home run, 6 days away from his 20th birthday. And it is a 4-2 ball game. He has hit the ball hard twice tonight. Very easily could have had 2 home runs, Ron.
Well, I agree with you. I thought the ball he hit the first time up had enough to get out of the yard, but after watching this last one, I know that thing was going to leave the yard. Any doubt about this one? Young Alex is strong. Yeah, he had good arm extension there.
And here's Joey Cora, so the Mariners are within 2 now. Joey hit the ball as hard as you can with Alex Rodriguez at first base in the 5th inning, but it was a bullet, and it was turned into an unassisted double play. And we'd like to remind you in just a second here that Southwest Airlines provides flights for fans to fly away from Seattle daily. 1-1. Sprague gobbles it up. Throws off balance and gets it. Good play by Ed Sprague. And that will retire the side, but Alex Rodriguez adds 1 with a home run, so the Mariners 2 runs. Home runs by Tino Martinez and Alex Rodriguez. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. Jays 4, Mariners 2. Half of the 7th, Paul Molitor will be the first man to face Salomon Torres, who has pitched a heck of a ball game, and now the Mariners are within 2 after the solo home run by rookie Alex Rodriguez in his first day back on the job after flying across country all day today. Got here about 5:15, 5:30 this afternoon and thrown right in the lineup. Salomon Torres still throwing hard with his 104th pitch, a fastball right down the middle to Paul Molitor. That's one of the few fastballs I have ever seen him take on the first pitch. lot of movement to that delivery. 2 strikes on Molly.
Very aggressive hitter, goes up there looking for a pitch from the very get-go. And if you throw him a fastball first time up, he's going to hit it somewhere.
Usually he didn't that one. And the first pitch to him, that really surprised me.
I know it. Most of the time he is. Well, I would put him in the category as being a first ball fastball hitter.
1-2 on Paul Molitor. First time he's been up there when Devo White hasn't been standing at second base. Chopper down to third, and it'll go foul as Strange picks it up. Broke his bat on that overhand curveball. Alex Rodriguez makes the easy catch for the out. Well, friends, don't miss your chance to touch them all as Gatorade and QFC team up to give you that chance to run around the bases immediately following the Mariners game against the Cleveland Indians a week from Sunday at 1:35. You kids 14 and under can take the field and circle the bases, and all you kids making the trip around the diamond will receive a certificate courtesy of Gatorade and QFC. Once again, that's a week from Sunday. Two and on Robbie Alomar. Robbie with that frightening experience just before the All-Star break. Breaking ball high, ball three balls and no strikes. Robbie makes his home right out there in that hotel in dead center field. The Sky Dome Hotel, there it is. And a strike on the inside corner. And the lady came in with a loaded revolver and said she was going to kill Robbie Alomar. Tries to drag himself forward and comes up empty in the count. 3 balls and 2 strikes. He was immediately arrested as still incarcerated. And Robbie now has a bodyguard. Sharply hit, but right to core at second base. 1 out. I'll make it 2 outs. Let's see what else is happening in baseball as we check in with our Northwest Ford Dealers scoreboard. Boston winning big over Minnesota at Fenway in the 8th inning, 11-5. 4-3 Yankees have come from behind to take the lead over Texas Rangers in the 6th inning. Baltimore 6-3 over Kansas City in the 4th after having been swept by Minnesota. Milwaukee and Chicago tied at 2-2. Joe Carter, 1 ball, no strikes, the count on him. Cleveland and Oakland out on the coast later on. Badly fooled.
You know, I have been watching Joe Carter hit here in the Kingdom for a while, or not the Kingdom, but the Sky Dome. And I would not be a bit surprised if someone hasn't been giving him the pitches, because the way he hits here versus on the road, there is a huge difference.
Ball just kind of ran in on his hands and got his bat, and the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Tell you what Torres has done tonight so far anyway. He is resting the Mariners bullpen. Great curveball.
Outstanding curveball. Strikeout number 6. Let's see, number 3. Number 4. You got it right. Number 4 for Salomon Torres. And after 7, it's still 4-2. Getting late as we go to the 8th inning. The Mariners need to generate some pop here. They trail by 4-2, and Rich Amaral will step in and start it off playing center field for the Mariners tonight. Hurtado has yet to throw 100 pitches. He has just been outstanding. He may be tiring here. 2-0. He struck out 5.
Well, he's been up and down this year with the Blue Jays. I don't know how many times he's had a chance to start in the minor leagues this year.
That's right on the corner for Neves.
Still look like he's throwing nice and freely.
Got a nice motion, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. He has good stuff.
Well, he's way away with that one. Love to get Amaral aboard here, bring the tying run to the plate with Edgar and Tino and Buhner do behind him. Heck of a 3-1 pitch. That ball ripped by the third baseman Sprague into left field. So the Mariners will bring the big boys up now with a chance to tie or get ahead in this ball game, as Amaral is 2 for 4 as he hits a bullet by Sprague on the 3-2 delivery. And the Blue Jays may be getting some action in the bullpen pretty soon. That's left-hander Tony Castillo, who was a busy man for Toronto in Seattle right after the All-Star break, working in relief. So the little southpaw is up and throwing right now. That outside target is too far outside. To me, like Hurtado hit right where the target was as Martinez set up out of the strike zone. You can see that Amaral has been very successful. I don't think he's going to be stealing here. Might play a little hit and run with the pop and sizzle with Edgar Martinez, Tino Martinez, and Jay Buhner up there. But they may play a little hit and run as Edgar has great bat control. 2-0. Now.
See Lou Piniella putting his hand out saying, hey, get a pitch right there. It's been about 2 weeks since Edgar Martinez has hit a home run. In fact, his last home run, July 7th, against the Indians. So he's due.
Now hitting .365 is Edgar. A strike. What a quality strike, too.
Edgar had the hit sign there, but that just was not the pitch that he wanted to handle. As Hurtado made a good pitch, as Dave pointed out.
And that pitch lined into the gap in right center field, and it's got a chance to get to the wall and will. So Amaral is the third base. They're going to wave him in, and Edgar Martinez has an RBI double. We have a one-run ball game. Nobody out here in the 8th. It is 4-3 Toronto.
Get out!
Edgar Martinez, a bolt all the way to the wall in right center field. Edgar Martinez with his 30th double of the year. And here comes Cito Gaston. With Tino Martinez up there, I'm sure that's going to be it.
Yeah, and you see that ball getting in the gap there in the outfield, and with the speed of Amaral, with that play being right in front of him like that, he was able to score easily from first base.
So Gaston will take the ball from Hurtado, who does a heck of a job. He goes 7+ innings. And tips his cap to the fans. His first major league strikeout has to be charted as a success. He cannot lose the game. He could win it. And, of course, could have nothing to do with it. Well, for that young man, 25 years of age, making his first major league start, he fits very well. He has the tying run out at second base. You can see 101 pitches, by the way, 8 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. And now Tony Castillo, who worked in 3 of the 4 games against the Mariners in Seattle, will come in and take over, Ron.
Well, you can see the left-hander out there in the mound. You're looking at his numbers for the year. In his last appearance, he notched his 5th save. That was against the Twins 4 days ago. And then against the Mariners on that recent trip to the West Coast. Had a 1-2-3 9th inning there at the Kingdome in relief of Juan Guzman, and he notched his 4th save. So in his last couple of outings, he has been very effective, picking up a couple of saves.
And Tino Martinez, who has homered, who has singled, he's 2 for 3 up there with Edgar Martinez at second base and a run in. 1-0. Back, Tony, another Venezuelan from Lara, Venezuela, appeared in 41 games with the Jays last year and had a fine earned run average of 2.5 and a 5.2 ERA. (32 years of age). Edgar Martinez with his 30th double, his 62nd RBI. Tino lays off the slider away. Ball 3, 3-1. There's Jay on deck. Tino, a shot to the first baseman Olerud, gets the job done as he moves Edgar Martinez down to third, representing the tying run with only 1 down. So it'll be up to Buhner to get him in from 90 feet away. Talking about our trivia question. Name the Blue Jay who holds team records in 9 of 18 offensive categories. Boy, this guy could hit the ball. A strong left-handed batter. And we're talking about Lloyd Mosby. Man, he was right down on the bottom of that bat. And Buhner takes the pitch outside. Was so effective. He led the Blue Jays 9 of 18 categories, games played, at bats, runs, hits, doubles, stolen bases, walks, strikeouts, hit by pitch. Played for Toronto from 80 to 89. 2-0.
Talking about somebody being down on the end of the bat, Jay Buhner has his little finger wrapped around the knob of the bat.
Should get a pitch here, 2-0. Nope, low. Warren Newson, a left-handed batter, is behind him.
Let Jay hit 3-0.
Oh, he's swinging from here to Montreal. He gets a pitch. But he doesn't. It's outside. You got Blowers, you got Wilson down there. You got a switch hitter, Alex Diaz, but he's really been struggling. And Felix Fermin, who has a sore leg, and it's going to be Mike Blowers. Blowers, who yesterday afternoon in Milwaukee had a couple of base hits after struggling.
Hey, we said one of the big reasons why guys are able to pinch hit and pinch hit well, and that is being given the opportunity to play at least a couple of days a week, so that you're you're not really coming off the bench strictly as a pinch hitter. Well, Blowers has been playing most of the season, so this should be a pretty good at bat for Mike. Not like sitting around the entire day or an entire week and not have a chance to swing the bat. As you pointed out, Mike had a couple of hits yesterday.
Mike is 1 for 7 as a pinch hitter. The infield playing back, hoping for the double play, but not too far back. Pitch it sharply to the shortstop or second baseman. They can still come to the plate. Castillo misses high, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Strike. 1-1. Takes Brenton a while. He can see to let you know. Tony Castillo in relief of Edwin Hurtado. A little low. Down the middle. So Blowers hasn't taken the bat off his shoulders. And he's up there with a count 2-2. Not going to get a much better pitch to hit than that last one.
Well, he's given up a couple of strikes now. He has to become aggressive up there at the plate. 2-2 count on him. Tying run at third base. Now's the time you have to become aggressive if you're the hitter. Get ready to hit and go after it.
And a ground ball to the second baseman. Alomar to Perez, and just like that, just what Mr. Castillo ordered. And the Mariners will lead still shy by 1 run here in the 8th inning. They get 1 run on 2 hits, and they leave a man. So we'll go to the bottom of the 8th. It's 4-3 Toronto. Well, the pitcher's best friend, the old double play ball, got Toronto out of a jam in the 8th inning when the Mariners had runners at first and third. A run in, tying run 90 feet away, but a double play ball hit by Mike Blowers, and John Olerud leads it off and takes a strike here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Blowers stays in the ball game, but he is in left field for the Mariners now. There's Mike out in left field. Backdoor slider, 0-2. John, the kid from Washington State, Interlake, who had a great series in Seattle, has been blanked tonight. But the Mariners showing him very deep respect in that 3rd inning, walked him to load the bases, and then Ed Sprague took a 2-0 pitch out of here for the 4 Toronto runs, a grand slam home run. Olerud right to Cora. 1 away in the Toronto 8th. Friends, the Mariners return home next Monday, the 24th, to open a 7-game homestand against the Milwaukee Brewers and the Cleveland Indians. And in addition to some great baseball action, that homestand is highlighted with exciting promotions, including McDonald's Bat Night on Saturday, the 29th, against the Tribe. Don't forget, game time against the Brewers Wednesday, July the 26th is set for 7:05. Tickets you call 622 hits. Routine ground ball hit to Alex Rodriguez by Eddie Sprague. So 2 down. The Mariners against Milwaukee and Cleveland. They are off on the 31st. Head down for a very important series against both California and Oakland before the Chicago White Sox come in from 4-3. And then they have a very handsome homestand, Kansas City, Minnesota, and Oakland.
They're on the road, actually. There's a number down the third baseline. After that, they're home for a very long time. So they can hang in there. If they can get into September, I think the schedule is very favorable for the Mariners. But they've got to hang in there, and somebody's got to cool off the California Angels.
Boy, cool them off is right, because every time we look up, it seems like they're scoring 8 to 10 runs.
Sean Green, 2 for 3. Torres thrown a heck of a ball game, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. He's made one bad pitch the entire game.
Ah, yes. So Solomon Torres gets his 5th strikeout. And all of a sudden, the Mariners are down to it. They got to get a run in the 9th. We are through 8, and the Mariners are down by 1. Look at that breaking ball. It is 4-3 Toronto. Here in the 9th inning for Doug Strange. A little bit unusual. Strange is a switch hitter also, and Alex Diaz is 0 for his last 21. But he is going to pinch hit for Strange. And then Widger behind him, and then, of course, Alex Rodriguez. Castillo living on that outside corner. Looking for his 2nd save against the Mariners. High fastball. Diaz hitting .280 right-handed. Doug Strange had only 7 at-bats right-handed and only 1 hit. And Alex Diaz has had a lot more attempts from the right-hand side. That, I'm sure, going into the thinking of Lou Piniella here in the 9th inning. Don't forget that we're carrying this entire weekend series here with the Blue Jays. Tomorrow at 10:30, game 2 of this 3-game series. Tim Belcher against Al Leiter. Same time on Sunday. It's going to be Bill Kruger against David Cohn. A little low. 2-2.
Well, it's about time that Alex Diaz bust out of that little slump that he's in. He's hit some balls hard, relatively hard the last few games. That time he gets one in there.
Ground ball hit right to Olerud, however, this time, and he'll take it to the bag for the out. All 4 of the runs for the Blue Jays unearned because of an error by young Alex Rodriguez, who was just called up today. Chris Widger pops it to right field, and Sean Green, the 2nd out. Game time, and young Alex Rodriguez, who tattooed one from Hurtado in the 7th inning and almost had one out in the 3rd, will be up there, I think, looking for the pump here. 2 outs in the 9th inning. Outside. Castillo overthrowing a little bit here and missing high and away, and Alex should get a little A chance to see a pretty good pitch here, one would think. Although Alex Rodriguez is a heck of a lot bigger of a home run threat than the man on deck, Joey Cora. So he may show him some respect. Breaking ball, pop back and out of play. A curveball that time. This kid's going to hit a lot of home runs before his career is over.
Well, he's going to get a lot of hits. He's going to have a lot of opportunities to hit home runs. No question about that. You say in about a week or so, he's going to turn 20.
6 days.
6 days.
27. He's badly cooled to that pitch. That's a pitch you could drive. He jumped out of the way of a fastball about knee high. And the fans here can smell it. Fought him off, fouled it back. Way outside, and he's taking him full 3-2. And there's Cora. Due next. Breaking ball. Might have broken his bat. I think it did. Got it in on the handle, so he'll go back and get a new stick as the count goes to 3-2. Boy, he has shown me a lot better plate discipline up here than the second time or the first time it was up. Took him 75 at bats to walk. He's already walked here in this ball game in the 5th.
Yeah, we pointed that out when he drew that base on balls back in the 5th inning.
And he's battling.
Yeah, that's encouraging to see that too, Dave.
Fastball popped up, out of play again. Hanging tough. I think this young man's up and down days are over.
Well, let's hope they are, because that'll solve the shortstop position for the Mariners. The more pitches that Rodriguez sees from Castillo, the better it is for Alex.
Fastball, fly ball, center field. And Devo White doesn't move a muscle. Makes the catch, and the ball game is over. Pretty good at bat, however, I think, for Alex Rodriguez, even though it ends the ball game. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. So a grand slam home run by Eddie Sprague is the difference in the ball game as the Toronto Blue Jays hang on. A heck of a job by Salomon Torres, and Mr. Edwin Hurtado picks up his second major league victory. Would you know it? Both are against the Seattle Mariners. One in relief and one as a starter, and he goes to 2-0 on the year, and Salomon Torres 3-5. And the Blue Jays have beaten the Mariners 4 of 5 this year with only 2 more to go. One tomorrow morning your time and one Sunday morning before the Mariners return home. A heck of a ball game. Only 2 hours and 24 minutes, and we'll be right back.